What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. So excited for today's episode, but real quick, if you feel like you are pushing a rock up the hill with your business right now, maybe you feel isolated, maybe you feel like you're doing it alone, maybe you feel like you're working on the things that you're working on, but they're not really working, and everything everybody else is doing seems to be working, and you feel like you're missing out on the trends and the strategies and the tools to actually grow your business in the next 12 months. Well, great news, friends. We got a workshop coming up, free, totally free for you. We only do these twice a year. It's called the 6-Figure Creator Workshop, where we're going to be teaching you the 5 trends and tools that we are using in our own businesses and that we're seeing other successful creators use in their businesses that can help you grow in the next 12 months. We're going to be uncovering all of that August 28th, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. I'm excited.
And it's totally live. It's completely live. And when we do Q&A, it's a ton of fun. Seriously, like if you even just want like a shot of momentum, like come to this call.
You are invited.
So much fun. Only 150 spots though, so make sure you register today. Check out the podcast description. You got the link there. It's creativerize.com/workshop. And you can just easily sign up in literally less than a minute. So
we're thrilled. This is like
do it right now.
Easily one of our favorite things we do all year. We only do these free workshops, these big free workshops twice a year. It's going to be killer. So make sure you get there, creativerize.com/workshop. You can see it all in the description of the pod or in our Instagram bio, wherever you're watching this.
So in this episode, we are so excited for this interview we got with Taylor Caruso. She is an awesome, bubbly, super fun creative. She actually started her creative business literally 5 months ago. Five months ago,
guys. 5 months.
She's doing social media management. She's got a wedding content creation business. She started it 5 months ago, literally from scratch, and she's now hit a pretty incredible monthly number that we are going to, well, we said it in the podcast description, $6,000 a month, which is so insane.
Recurring.
So, recurring $6,000 a month in less than 5 months, which is so, so cool. So this is a really fun episode. We talk about how she did it, what sales tactics she used. Hint, literally went door to door, which is such a fun story. You're going to love that. We talk about flops in business. We talk about how to build something that scales really quickly and what exactly she did in order to do it. So she opens it up, the book. It's awesome. You're going to love this episode. Taylor was a part of our Round 11 Creative Rise Mastermind, our 6-week signature program that we run. And it's actually, our next one's coming really soon.
Yeah, Round 12's coming up. Round 12 starts September 15th, which is insane. It came so quick, which we're so excited about. But the last one we ran was earlier in this year. We only run it twice a year. Round 12 starts September 15th, and it gives you the business blueprint to build a 6-figure foundation wherever you're at right now in your business, whether you want to cross 6 figures for the first time, whether you're already there and you really need to find more stability there. You want to pivot your business going from weddings to brands, from brands to weddings. You want to do both of those at the same time. We can give you the blueprint and the foundation to do that really well. And best part, you get to do it in a community of people. So Taylor was one of 35 businesses in the last round, which was awesome. And the reason why we do it communally is because we've got a lot of answers. We've both been running our own creative businesses for almost 2 decades collaboratively together. We've got a lot of answers. You listen to the podcast every week, we have answers, but there's also a lot of other answers. We don't have every answer in the world. So when we can facilitate a group of people that can not only just learn from us and we can impact and really invest in their businesses, get our hands on it, but you can also get feedback and encouragement and support from a bunch of other creatives. How cool is that? So the Creative Rise Mastermind's got of course content. It's got coaching and courses. We've got live weekly group calls, which is amazing. There's a bunch of accountability stuff built into there, and it is a ton of fun designed to get you a huge momentum boost as you get closer to your next 6 figures, which is fun.
So if you're a photographer, filmmaker, social media manager, website designer, any service-based creative, this is for you. So if you're interested, join the waitlist. It's a no-commitment waitlist. Again, also in the podcast description or just creativerize.com. There's buttons everywhere. But without further ado, this is Taylor. What's up, Taylor? I am so excited. I feel like this is a long time coming.
Welcome to the show.
Long time coming. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
You just met our dog.
Yes.
First impressions.
Thank you. I'm doing great. And yes, Bogey is the best. He gave me a little nibble on the toe, so it was nice little welcome.
Oh, a little welcome.
It's a little bit aggressive sometimes,
we're working on
but that is something we are actively
working on. It was like
on.
a little kiss. It was great. I loved it.
Okay, great. Taylor, every time we have a guest on the show, as you know, we do rapid fire questions. So we're just going to rapid fire some questions. First one is, where are you from?
Okay, so I'm originally from Sacramento, California, Sacktown, but currently I'm living in North Carolina.
I love it.
Love it.
And then from North Northern California to Northern Carolina.
I love it. And what is your creative business and how long you've been doing it for?
Yes. Okay, so I have 2 creative businesses, I guess. I have social media management, which I have been doing since March of this year, so not very long. And then same thing with wedding content creation. I would say I've been doing it for almost a year. Kind of unofficially did it last year for some friends, and then officially was like, you know what, this is a business I really want to get into, and so officially made that business move, and I'm doing that as well.
Officially getting paid for it.
Yes,
I love it. Okay, so March, how many months of creative business is that to this point?
March, April, May, June, July,
August.
August.
There we go.
5 months.
5 months.
You're
5 months.
okay. So 5 months,
Yes.
and then quick spoiler. Let's just spoil it for the people. What's your current monthly run rate at? What are you making per month?
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm making like $6,000 a month.
Which is amazing, and that's consistent recurring revenue,
Yes,
right?
it's all consistent.
Yeah, that's not just
That's
you hit a
amazing.
$6K a month, 1 month. It's like no, those are clients that have signed on.
Yep.
You lock them in, they're on retainer, and you've got more stuff in the pipeline. which
Even
is cool.
deeper spoiler alert.
Yes.
We were just talking about that, which is amazing. So first of all, how's that feel? You're 5 months in, and you're making $6,000 a year.
Yeah.
You originally chatted with us, so you're like, hey, I want to start something because I really want to have the freedom and luxury to be able to travel with my husband, live in a van if we want.
Yeah.
What can I do? And you're 5 months into it now. You're doing it. How does that feel?
Honestly, it feels really great. I was actually telling my husband a little bit ago, I was like, there's literally nothing else I'd rather be doing. I think when I graduated college, I graduated 2022. And I was doing a lot of kind of contracted jobs. And so I was like, okay, I'm basically an independent contractor for all these people doing social media. And I also found it really difficult to just kind of work in normal agency structure environments with social media. There just wasn't a lot of creative flexibility. And I just felt like a lot of the environments were very sterile. And that's not true of all agencies, but the agencies that I had been a part of just wasn't an environment I wanted myself to be in. So being able to kind of be my own boss and really take charge was very nerve-wracking at first. But honestly, you guys were like, you got it. And I'm like, okay, I don't think so, but sure. So I feel really great because I didn't really expect to be doing this well.
I love that. I love that you also, because we're friends. We've known each other. I've known Taylor for forever.
Probably since I was born.
And I remember when we were talking after you kind of graduated and you're like, okay, maybe I'll go and get a job somewhere here and work underneath somebody, be an employee, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I love that you were like, actually, ew, I don't like that environment. I'll just build it I'll just build it myself. I will literally just build it myself, which you did in less than 5 months, which is unbelievable. So
it's amazing. So I've also known you for a while.
Yeah.
But professionally, you came into round 11 with the Creator Rise Mastermind.
Yes.
You joined the mastermind, which was super fun.
So fun.
And what did you come into the mastermind with money per month? Do you remember? Did you have any work before, or was it?
I was doing social media management for a client that was I was an employee of a place.
yeah,
okay. I was an employee and I was making $300 a month from that specific place, and then I think I was making $800 a month from somewhere else. So I was barely breaking $2,000 a month, or I don't even think I broke $2,000 a month. So,
that's $1,300.
Yes, because I made the move. So
so you basically came into the mastermind. Would you say you were overworked for the amount of work you were doing?
100%.
So you were making $1,300, and you were working a lot. I remember those 2 clients. You were working a lot.
Yes.
And immediately when you came into the mastermind, it was inside of, I believe, week 1. You watched the modules, the first modules. You met the community, you got fired up, and you did something that a lot of creatives will never do. You walked door to door and you introduced yourself.
Yeah.
You walked door to door and you introduced yourself to clients and said, this is who I am, this is what I can do. And you walked out of those doors with some new clients. So tell me about that experience. What happened week 1 of the mastermind? Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so, I guess I should say, too, I moved from California to North Carolina at the beginning of this year. So I was in a fresh new place with, really no contacts, no connections. My network was very small. And I will say, too, I'm normally a big, outgoing person. So I think stuff like this is always hard no matter what kind of personality you have. But being a little more extroverted, it comes a little more naturally to me, which, it's a skill that you can learn despite if people feel like they can't. You can totally learn how to be an extrovert and just be bold. And so, I basically just moved into a new area, and it's a pretty small town. And so I basically one day, I had really nothing to do. I was not doing a lot of work. And so I kind of just went to the gym, and there's this really cool kind of strip mall in the area that I live. And I just walked kind of around town, and I was just kind of looking for people. I was like, I want to do social media management. Let me just walk into some places and see if they would, take a grab at what I was offering. And so I kind of walked into a boutique one day, and I was like, oh, this place is really cool. And so I kind of was like, hey, are you guys looking for any type of like content, social media management? And they're like, actually, we are. Like, this is actually something we're very interested in. So they're now one of my clients, and I don't do full social media management for them, but I do content creation for them. And so that's been really fun. And I was working there one day. This kind of leads into my next client story, but I was working there one day shooting content. Lady walks in, and I'm just taking a picture with my camera, and she's like, do you do social media? I was like, yes, I do social media. She's like, I am opening a Pilates studio. I need to hire somebody. We met the next day, and she was my first like official client, I would say. The boutique, I guess, kind of was my first client, but I think I had done that like the first week of the Creative Rise. So I was like, do I have a business? Do I not have a business? I was like, wait, I'm kind of confused about how this is happening. And then I was like, oh, this other client is mine now too. So it all happened.
I've got a business.
Yes. I was like, okay, great. I'm legit. This is something I can actually do.
I love that.
That's kind of how that happened, I guess.
That first week of the mastermind was so fun because I feel like there's just so much energy in that first week of like, let's go out and let's do this. Like, we've kind of solidified our offers. We've done a ton of stuff, ton of work with that at the beginning of the week. And then you were like, okay, I need clients. So I'm just going to literally go and walk door to door and get some clients, which so many creatives are unwilling to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, they want to stay behind the computer. They want to stay where it's like a little bit less scary. But you were just like, nope, I'm out there. I'm going. And I remember we've got like an Instagram group chat running with every round. And I remember you typing in the chat, and you were like, so I just walked door to door, and I just landed a client. And it's like literally the day
Everyone's like, wait, what?
I was like,
we just
what?
started,
Like,
and you didn't have a business 2 days ago.
Literally.
What the heck?
And I think that's such a good call out to creatives of like, what can you actually do to put yourself out there to get immediate results rather than like, let me send a pitch email and then 4 follow-ups and then maybe I'll hear back in a month and maybe I'll land a, meeting, whatever. You were just like, no, let's just get this done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. I know. I was like, I feel the pressure's on. I got to get some clients so I have a business to work with for you guys.
That was awesome.
So here's my follow-up question to that. A lot of creatives won't do that because they go, I have no idea what to say.
Right.
How could I ever walk into somebody's business and say, blah, 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 blah. Like, what do you even say? So what did you say? Because I think that's a huge question for a lot of creatives. How do you pitch yourself in person?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I feel like it's just really great to approach it less like businessy and just more like, I'm a human being, I'm a creative person. Like, I feel like creative people are generally very fun and outgoing, or just like, if you're more introverted, like, you just have a passion for what you're doing. And I think that normally, like, really shows through a person's personality. And so I kind of just walked in, and I was just like, oh, I really like these. First of all, I tried on clothes, and so I was like, I'm going to be a customer.
There we go.
And so that was kind of cool too. I'm not just like walking in and I'm like, hey, I'm not interested in anything that you have for me, but I want to take, I want you to pay me for what I can do for you. And so that was one thing I think that's helpful, is like, I was genuinely interested in the product, tried on some sweatpants, and I was like, taking these home with me. These are great.
Let's go.
And so then, I was like, I'm new to the area. This is what I do. So kind of just building a natural conversation based on what they were offering or what services they were providing. And I was interested in their product, and then kind of being like, oh yeah, and then this is who I am. This is where, like, I just moved from here and I'm new to the area. And oh yeah, and I do social media if you know anyone looking for something like that. So just kind of like a generally very easy conversation that's not like a pitch email. It's like, just be normal, have a conversation, be a human being. Don't be too crazy pitchy and like nervous that they're going to reject you. Because if you start out with just being like, hey, this is who I am, they're not going to reject your personality. So
absolutely.
I
That's
love
awesome.
that. So a couple of things I heard. Number one, you said, carry yourself into that building with passion.
Yeah.
And one of the best ways to do that, because I've done the exact same thing, is if you just go, this is awesome. Like, when did you guys get started?
Yeah.
What do you love about working here? If
100%.
you ask them questions about their passions, typically that will get reciprocated, and they'll start asking you, well, so who are you? Like, what are you doing here? How'd you find us? Oh, I just moved and I run social media management business. So number one, start with passion. Come with passion, inquire about their passions. And number two, you then said, make sure you become a customer before you ask them to become a customer of you.
100%.
Which is so true, right? Especially if it's like lower ticket. If they're selling commercial solar for,
I would love to buy some
$2
solar
million,
for my rental property.
that makes sense where it's a little bit more difficult. But if it's a smoothie shop, or if it's a boutique or a Pilates studio, try it on for size. Get to know them a little bit, and those natural connections will build, which is awesome. So you said everybody can learn how to be a little bit of a professional extrovert in that sense. So as a professional extrovert yourself, what would be a tip for someone who's going, okay, Taylor, I just heard you say those couple things. How do I find the businesses that I should even become an extrovert with and go start building relationships with? Did you just literally go door to door on everyone you could find, or did you seek out something that you thought was going to align with what you're into?
Yeah, I would say the latter. I think I'm interested in clothes. I'm a big fashionista girl, love to shop. So if I had walked into a hardware store, I don't think I would have found as much things in common with them. And so it was kind of nice because I basically was like, I'm skilled at social media management. I'm going to fill a need. If I'm going to fill a need, I would like to have some sort of connection or like a passion for what business I'm helping. And so I wouldn't say that I was overly selective at the beginning, but I do think it kind of worked out at the beginning with walking to the boutique. And then now kind of from that experience, I'm like, okay, definitely trying to find clients that I know that I like enjoy their product or enjoy what they offer. Because I think it also fuels my fire because I'm providing things with my creative skills that I also like what they're putting out.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, that's really cool. What do you feel like if you were starting from square one? Now, I know that it was 5 months ago, so it probably isn't hard to think of.
Feels like square one still.
It still feels like square one. Well, your square one's looking pretty good. Okay. But if you were like starting from scratch and you were like, I have no clients, would that be like, I'm going door to door, that is my strategy? Or would you do anything differently? Or is there anything you learned through that where you're like, oh, that was a mistake, and maybe someone else could learn from my mistake that I made?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I would hang out with you guys, do your program. I feel like that was such a good like catapulter launcher. I don't know if that was the right analogy, but you guys just had such a good structure, so it really helped me. So I think I guess when I graduated college and I kind of had an inkling that I wanted to do this, I didn't really have a structure and know my value. And so I kind of was working for people that I really enjoyed working for who I worked for, but I wasn't receiving getting, I don't know what the word is.
Monetarily.
Monetarily, I wasn't getting compensated for like the value I was providing. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I really learned is like making sure to value myself really high at the beginning, and just understanding my value, because my prices, I feel like when I first put them out, I was like, I don't know, you guys, like, I don't think no one's gonna like go for these things. But now I'm doing, I have like 5 clients and they're all actually in my budget and they want my packaging, and some of them are adding add-ons. So I think just really understanding like my value at the beginning would have allowed me to progress faster and like have a lot more income initially, because now I know that people actually will come, even if it takes a little bit longer of a time. I don't have to do 3 times the work for 5 people to make the same amount of money I do for one person.
So let's dive a little bit into like your offer, pricings, what you've learned about those things, because I think some people, they're listening to this and they're literally starting from ground zero. They're like, I don't know anything about this world. All I know is that I like social media. I like creating content. And I would love to be able to go live in a van with my husband and travel around and have no ties to living in some corporate job. So talk to us about offers, going deep as you want with pricing and all of that kind of stuff. 100%. But let's talk a little bit about what do you offer somebody? Like, let's say you're walking into that Pilates studio. Are you like telling them 3 packages? Like, how does that work for your business specifically?
Yeah, 100%. So initially during the program, during the workshop, I had 3 packages. And then per your guys' recommendation, I narrowed it down to 2, making it really easy for people. And so I basically have 2 packages, which are listed on my website. So they're public, but it's $1,500 a month and then $2,000 a month. And from that, I have a bunch of add-ons that you can do, like UGC content creation or
smart.
Ad management, etc. Little things that might not be perfect for everybody, but that are offered. And I will say, like, next week I have a call with somebody to potentially do social media management for them. And have my 2 packages, but I'm also willing to be flexible. If there's someone who needs more, say, posts per week, because I kind of lay them all out basically, like this package offers this many posts per week, this services, this type of analytics, and vice versa. And so I'm willing to be flexible to a certain degree, And then I have my add-ons that kind of increase, decrease the packages based on what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say having 2 options like you guys recommend, I think is nice because you can't always create a custom package for someone. But then they just have, okay, great, I have A and B. And if I don't like it, I can kind of mix it up a little bit, but it's very straightforward, very easy to digest and understand.
Yeah, and I think I was just gonna add, it's so important. We talk about this so much in the mastermind of like, give people options because psychology, people want to naturally compare. And so if they have one package from you, then they're gonna go and look at Sally down the road and look at her package. Whereas if you have multiple packages, it satisfies that comparison, and then you win either way, which is why we like.
Well, and that's a big mistake a lot of creators made. Make they either sell only one thing. It's like, oh, here's my price, or they'll sell like 4 prices, 3 or 4 packages, and it's just confusing. So the reason why we told you is, this for everybody listening, the reason why we say narrow it down to 2 is you want to eliminate decision fatigue, where someone goes, I don't even know that much about social media. That's why I'm trying to hire someone like Taylor, and she just gave me 3 options. I don't know which one to choose. I'll think about it next week, and then next week comes around, they never do, right? Whereas much of that decision fatigue as you can eliminate as possible, the better, which is really cool. So here's what I want to kind of pivot into now. You have a second side to your business that I think is really cool. And I think it is super exciting as well because it is a newer model of wedding filmmaking and photography that we have been talking about for years. And we don't understand why there's not more people doing it, and you're doing it really well.
Crushing it.
Thank you.
So you are doing wedding content creation.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about
that. Needs to become a buzzword because I think it's a really, really good offer. Not a lot of people are doing it. So what is wedding content creation?
Yeah, wedding content creation, I would basically say is like, I'm kind of like your personal paparazzi. I'm kind of like an extension of you, and I capture, the big moments like the ceremony and first look and stuff like that. But I also focus on more of like the intimate, unseen moments that maybe the bride and groom don't even get to experience. For example, if your flower girl is kind of busted a move on the dance floor and maybe you're enjoying your cake or something like that, right? Like you as a bride and groom are so busy during your wedding day, and you not only want to try and enjoy everyone there, but also you want to try and enjoy each other. And so it's kind of nice for someone like me who I'm just on my phone the entire day, taking little 3 to 5 second clips of the entire wedding day, and then everything is delivered within 24 hours of your wedding day, so it's like super instant gratification, which is super nice. And it's basically just all the BTS and everything from your wedding day, super fast delivery. And I'll also do some TikToks and things too, audio syncing things, all that stuff. But it's kind of like personal.
All shot on an iPhone.
Which shot on an iPhone.
Is honestly what most people like anyways. Like I just feel like it's so on trend of most people just want that like very relatable iPhone content that feels like, their best friend took it. 100%. And that's some of the stuff. Like I look back at some of our iPhone BTS of our wedding that just friends took.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's some of my favorite content we have from the entire day, which you're now offering that as a service, which is so huge.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Well, what's cool about it is it's malleable. And what I mean by that is when you get a wedding film, and we love our wedding film that we got. It's like our favorite wedding film we've ever seen.
Yeah.
We love our wedding photographer and the photos that we got. Yeah. But we can't necessarily like change those things very easily, right? They're already edited. The film's already edited. Yeah. Where what you're doing is you're piecing together some reels or some TikToks for the bride, but then you're also giving her all the footage within
100%.
24 hours, which means it's malleable. She can then create her own post. So for people that have even some type of inkling of like, I want to be creative or make my own stuff from my own wedding day, 100%. Which is a lot of people, especially Gen Z and below, right?
Totally.
That's going to be a huge thing because we're the video generations.
Yeah,
like that's, we've all grown up, consuming and making video.
Yeah.
So that is really, really cool because it's a different approach. So I really love that. That's really cool. So how do you sell that? What does that actually look like?
Yeah.
What are your offers? You mentioned this 24-hour delivery. That's an aspect of your offer, which is awesome. What are some other aspects of your offer so that somebody who's maybe not doing it can be like, oh, that's interesting. I should maybe consider that.
Yeah, totally. And I will say too, like I always tell people, the first picture you post from your wedding will probably be from an iPhone anyway. So you might as well have someone who's there intentionally to take it for you. So you can have photos that are up that you are like, okay, this was intentionally taken. But yeah, so I'm kind of similarly structured to how you would hire a photographer, hire a videographer. And I will say I advertise myself as a supplement to those because I think video and photography are super important, and a lot of talent and skills go into those. But I basically have 3 packages. I have a 6-hour, 8-hour, and 10-hour package, and they're priced at $800, $1,000, and $1,200. And so that's been super fun. But yeah, basically, if you hire me for the 8 hours, we schedule a time. I'll show up on the day, leave at a certain time. You get one ready-made short form video within like the day of the wedding. Whether if I leave at 10, it'll probably be ready at like 2 a.m. or right in the morning for you. And then 24-hour delivery. Everything is delivered to your phone within 24 hours of the big day. And then I have a couple add-ons such as second shooters and audio syncing TikToks and all those things. But those are kind of the 3 offers that I have right now.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Simple.
And I think
scales,
that's
which is fun.
If you're like someone listening and you're like, that's the business you want to do, like Taylor, you make it all about that. Or if you are a wedding photographer or videographer, it's a great add-on. It's a great add-on to hire somebody to come and shoot all the iPhone BTS content and make it an upsell for your offer. And boom, you have like an extra $1,000 to maybe $2,000 on your package, which would be incredible.
And I think you should raise those prices.
I think
you probably thought I was going to say that.
No,
I'm always a fan of that. And you're getting them under your belt. You're building that reputation in the industry. But it's such a cool thing.
Yeah,
and I think we're going to see a world one day where this is my prediction. But I think we're going to see a world one day in the future, a couple years from now, where wedding content creation is actually the thing where people push most of their budget.
Yeah.
And then there's like a photographer and filmmaker to make something a little bit more traditional. But I think there's going to become like really popular wedding content creators who have their own style.
Yeah.
And they're really good at identifying trends and then creating trend-based content at your wedding. And I think that is going to be a very, very sellable skill.
That's Taylor.
That's my prediction for everyone who's listening.
You said it here first.
And I think you could be a very, very good candidate for
Thank
that.
you.
So let's talk about the mastermind. You came into the mastermind basically with no business.
Yeah.
And you started a business. Week 1 catapulted you.
Yeah.
With us talking about offers, you went in, face to face, pitched your business to a couple local businesses. You started to get clients. Talk more about the mastermind. What was the ROI for you investing, everything you had to invest into the mastermind, and, including also your time?
Yeah.
What was the ROI like for you, and where do you think that ROI came from? What were the valuable aspects of it for you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I would say the first thing that pops in my brain is your guys' leadership, discipleship, and the community that I was given. I think when I've always thought about starting a business, I always think, there's so much I don't know. And there's so many questions I have, and being able to be a part of a community that was like no gatekeeping. Everybody was so forthcoming with their prices, their offers, where they were at, their mistakes. And it was just so comforting because I'm like, oh my gosh, good. Like people who maybe had been in it for 10 years or like me who like super new to business, we're all kind of in the same boat of like, we don't know what we're doing half the time, but we have solidarity in our community. And it's just that was like the biggest comfort and like the biggest thing for me is like I walked away feeling like I have all these people that not only could I talk to during the program, but I could also talk to them. I would feel totally confident to reach out in the group chat like now, even if it's been quiet for months. I'm like, hey guys, I have no idea how to do this. And I feel like I would totally get responses from everyone and there would be no shame in it.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I know the community aspect is so huge. I just love and you were such a huge part of that, of just zero gatekeeping. Like, hey, here's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. Here's my sales goal. Here's what I'm going to offer. What should we do differently?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So cool. Well, I forgot that I actually skipped over our favorite question.
No, I noticed that we skipped over our favorite question.
That is the question of what is a flop you've had in your business? I totally forgot to ask
the biggest rapid fire question.
So Taylor, have you had any flops in your business? We'll wrap up with this.
Yeah, I have totally had flops. Okay, the biggest flop that I can think of is related to wedding content creation, which is great. But basically, I did a wedding in May, and I was super excited about it. But I'm kind of like a nervous person when it comes to my iPhone storage. I'm like, I don't want my iPhone to explode. I don't want to run out of storage because I can take up to like 2,000 videos of a wedding and just
that's a lot.
And they're not like long, right? They're like 3-5 seconds. But I'm like an overshooter 100%. Because that's me. I want all the content, even if it's like I take a video and it's whatever. I just want everything. So my fear was that I was going to run out of storage for this wedding. It was a 10-hour wedding. Which I find that's most popular as well. So that's been really fun, but it's a long day, right? So I basically the night before I was getting all my stuff ready, make sure my phone was charged, make sure my extra batteries are charged. And so I was like, I'm going to delete all my photos. They're saved up into Google's Photos. Like it'll be fine. Delete my entire camera roll. And mind you, I had just been to a really expensive styled shoot in Boston. And I had flown there. It was like a super luxurious content day. We had like all these multiple locations. And so this was like really prime content for me to promote luxury content creation. Had all this stuff. I'm like, it's backed up in Google Photos. I'll be fine. Delete it all. And because I just wanted to go that extra mile, I deleted it from my recently deleted.
Oh no.
So it's gone, right? Like it's gone out of the face of the universe. I do the wedding and I'm like, this is awesome. I have all this storage. The next day after the wedding, I think I'm like looking through stuff and I'm like, oh, I'm going to post a cute little reel on my content page. I go to my Google Photos. Crickets. There's nothing there.
No.
And then I call my husband. I'm like crying. I'm like, where's all my stuff? He's like, what did you do? If you delete it from your phone, it doesn't always automatically save. So that was my biggest mistake. I basically lost like $800 worth of content because of the styled shoot I had paid to go to and all this stuff. So the good thing is it didn't hurt my client because they had all their wedding photos, but it just hurt me. So I guess that's the silver lining of the story. But I was like, oh my gosh.
I was waiting for you to say like, oh, but then we were able to find like a cloud backup on the. It's just gone.
No, it's just gone into the universe.
Gone.
Is that like
that's
not
a
just
belly
the
flop.
shoot, but is that like all your photos that were on your phone?
It was the good thing is like I think I had stored up like it was probably from I think it was from the beginning of the year until like May that I had like deleted. So it was like not my entire life, but it was a lot of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so that was very disheartening. But
that sucks.
Crazy.
That's super sad.
That's crazy.
Well, Taylor, this has been awesome.
Yeah,
it's been
Thanks
so
for
good.
sharing everything you've learned about building your own business. Congratulations, by the way, on everything that's happening. It's awesome. Last question, where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Taylor Caruso Media on Instagram and TikTok as well. But yeah, follow me, follow along my journey, and follow Creative Rise. Get in their workshop because they are awesome.
Oh, you're so
I'm seriously
sweet.
so thankful for you guys and everything that you've helped me build because it's just going great and I would not change a thing.
That's awesome. Well, we're so glad to have you part of it. Thanks, Taylor, for being here.
on the podcast.
Hey. Awesome.
So how cool is that episode with Taylor? I love it. It is so funny to hear about her flop story one. And then I love that she just went door to door to door and quite literally knocked on businesses and said, hey, I do social media management. Can we do this? And also, how cool is wedding content creation? We have talked about that on the podcast for a long time. Like I think we talked about that for the first time like 3 years ago. And we said, people have got to do that. I nailed my prediction in this podcast on what I think is going to happen in the next decade. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with wedding content creation. But I think it's going to be a big thing, which is exciting.
It'll be really cool.
Huge, yeah.
So if you want to if you just feel momentum from this episode of like, oh, it's so fun to like hear someone else's story, hear how they're building something, then you would honestly love to hang out with us on August 28th at our 6-figure creator workshop. People like Taylor's going to be there. Tons of past mastermind grads are going to be there. A bunch of new people are going to be there. It's going to be a ton of fun of us workshopping on the 5 trends and tools that you need to grow your creative business in the next 12 months. So if you haven't registered yet, which I don't know why you haven't, go down to the podcast description, click the link. It takes 1 second to register, and it's, again, totally free.
Yeah, 6-figure creator workshop, August 28th, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. We cannot wait to see 150 of you guys there. It's going to be a blast. And by the way, there's always more people than 150 that register. So make sure you register. That way you can get the link. You can be the first 150 to get on the call. That way you can actually get there. Make sure you get all the value for free. Have a fun time hanging out with us, and we'd love to hang out with you. Other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Share it with a friend. If what Taylor got to share in her story was impactful to you, it's probably going to be impactful for one of your friends. So share it with them. Other than that, guys, we'll see you on the next episode.